What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. Got a lot going on. Got NFL franchise tag deadline here at 4 p.m. Eastern. Got a lot of stuff going on there. The Ravens and Lamar said, Ravens says talks are going to go down to the deadline. Also, news about Aaron Rodgers possibly maybe joining the New York Jets. So got a lot of stuff going on, but I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Jay McLovin. How's it going, Jay?
For me, it's going well. For Joe Mixon, running back for the Cincinnati Bengals, not quite so well. Not so well. I don't understand it, Gonzo. You know, first we had John Morant on Instagram.
I saw that last night. Actually, just a few minutes after we went off air last night, I saw that about Joe Mixon.
I'm telling, listen, so you got John Morant out there with the pistol and hand on it, flashing it and so forth. Out there with 17-year-olds punching them in the stomach and doing all kinds of craziness. Now we got Joe Mixon. Now, Joe Mixon has had a history of being violent before. He's hit his girlfriend. He's broke bones in his girlfriend's face. Now we got Joe Mixon. He had an arrest warrant that was issued for the 2021 Pro Bowler last month after it was alleged he pointed a gun at someone in a downtown Cincinnati and said, "You should be popped in the face. I should shoot you. The police can't get me." Now, fast forward to Tuesday night, and Joe Mixon's house was surrounded with police cautionary tape, shots being fired at his house. Nobody knows if he was involved or not, but there was a juvenile that was injured in said gunfire, and the juvenile that was injured was actually out in front of Joe Mixon's house, kind of in between the houses with his friends, and they were playing Nerf wars with their little Nerf guns, and then, lo and behold, he gets injured when shots were fired at Mixon's house. Now, guys, I don't know about you, man, but what the hell?
Yeah, I want to see more information about this to see if Mixon was involved. I mean, you would kind of think that he was somehow for it to happen at his house. But was he, you know what I mean? Was he home? Was there somebody else there?
Absolutely.
From what I hear, I think he was there, but it sounded like from the details I was hearing, it didn't sound like he had any involvement in it. But I'd like to know all the details because it's just a weird situation. And with his past history, you know, I mean, that kind of makes you look at it a little different too. Like, well, was he involved? He's done this, and this. He already said that he don't think the police can get him. So, but
exactly, that's my point. If he's out there in public saying, "I'm gonna pop you in the face," that I should shoot you, that the police can't get me, and then we get a shooting at his home. Look, I'm not a scientist, and I'm not going to assign the blame. I'm just saying it's pretty damn favorable that Mixon was involved. Now, more is going to come out of this. You know, it always does. It's going to come to light at some point. But, I mean, come on, man. Let's just, you know, look.
It makes you wonder because, I mean, hey. If you keep doing something over and over, it makes people think that you're probably involved. Like I said, but it could be he's not involved at all. I mean, I don't know the details, so I'm not going to say he is or he isn't. With that, you put everything together, it would make you think that he probably would be just because of his stuff in the past. But hey, that doesn't mean that he done anything wrong this time. Main thing is hopefully the kid that got injured will be okay.
Of course,
that's the main thing because it sounded like they were just like you said, some kids outside enjoying the weather, playing some Nerf and having a good time, and then all of a sudden you're going to the hospital. So,
look, if somebody's been injured from a gunshot that came from Joe Mixon's house, whether you put it in the document as to who. At some point, there's going to be an investigation, and they're going to ask questions. I promise you, somebody's going to confess. Somebody's gonna confess because the dude was shot. So there's gonna be somebody is gonna come out. How long it takes to come out, who knows? But it will come out. Like you said, man, it's a shame that a kid was hurt simply playing Nerf football out in front of the houses. I mean, come on, hell, what are we doing? What are we doing? Exactly, Scrappy.
He's out there in the damn living room, dude.
Scrappy's voice will be heard. You will not silence him.
That's for damn sure.
I love Chihuahuas, man. They have literally no fear about them.
The dude talks so much shit, man. Other night, I think it was Sunday night, we got back from me and Dad got back from wrestling show and stuff, and Scrappy was in there on the couch underneath the blanket, and I was sitting over in the recliner. I don't know, about 6 feet away or something. Well, I got up and I'd walk over by the couch, like right by the end of the couch where he's at. Wouldn't even touch him or nothing. He'd start growling. I'd just back up. I'd get back to about the other side of the chair. He'd be quiet. I'd go back over there. As soon as I got close to that couch, he'd start growling again. I was like, "You little asshole!"
I'm telling you, man. Hey, look, Chihuahuas, they really are. They are serious assholes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's just because they're a small animal and they feel like they have to, exude themselves. But yeah, they're assholes. Oh, speaking of assholes. So our boy Mike Hughes in the house. Mikey. Joe Mixon's over there telling people in 2021 in Cincinnati, I got a gun. I should pop you. I should kill you. The police can't touch me. Lo and behold, a couple of days ago, there's police cautionary tape around Joe Mixon's house. Shots were fired from the house. A juvenile was struck playing Nerf war out in the front yard from a bullet that came from Joe Mixon's house. What the hell are we doing, man? We got John Moran out there flashing guns on Instagram. What are these athletes thinking, man? Come on.
They're wilding out.
I'm just saying, man. What are we doing?
Oh,
I didn't even know that happened, so that was just news to me. But
yeah, I mean, it actually came out late last night. That's probably why maybe.
Yeah, okay, like.
I'm just saying, Mike. Hey, these athletes, man, they're getting a little crazy with these weapons, man.
Shouldn't have been playing Nerf war in the street.
You know what I'm saying? If you play Nerf war,
it can get dangerous.
My gun worked better.
Hey, one's more effect. We shouldn't say that, man. What that poor kid dies. Then we're all gonna look like a-holes, and I'm gonna blame Mike Hughes.
I mean, yeah.
I say, I was only following Mike's lead, man. He took me down the dark path.
I didn't even know. I don't even.
I will say that's a fresh haircut you're sporting today. I don't know if you went to the barber yesterday or the day before, but it's looking kind of nice.
I went about a week ago.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice little edge lineup he gave you because that thing still looks pretty fresh.
Yeah, my shit take a little bit to go back.
Man, hey, listen, my hair grows too fast. Unfortunately, it grows only on the sides real fast. On the top, not so much. Up in this general region, it's kind of like Antarctic. It's just kind of ascending. It is what it is.
Hey, Mike, what do you think about Derek Carr going to the Saints? We talked a little bit about it last night on the GSR show. Jay and I did, but I haven't got to talk to you about it. What do you think about Carr going to the Saints? You think it's a good move for both?
No. I mean, I think it's cool for Derek. Derek got his money. But I looked at the stats, and obviously it's two very different seasons. But if you look at the touchdowns throughout the year, you look at what happened with the statistics of the passing yards and everything else, and they're identical. Like, they did just as good without Derek Carr than they did with Derek Carr. The passing yards are damn near the same. The touchdowns are the same. The interceptions are the same. The QBR is the same. It's all the same. So it's weird to me. I mean, I think it's going to make a difference. I'm a big Derek Carr fan. I think everybody knows I like Derek Carr. I think he's a great leader and he's a great person. And I think he's a solid quarterback. But there's a lot more than that goes into that. You know, Chris Olave is really the only guy on that offense that I could really look at and say that I know he's probably going to play 17 of 17 games. You know, Alvin Kamara might decide he wants to punch somebody in the face or do something else that'll get him in trouble or fined or
get. He already being investigated
he's
right
being
now.
Investigated again for another drunk action where, you know, it's not like he's out here just punching dudes in the face, but it's obvious that this guy can't handle the club scene, and that's neither can I, and that's why I don't go. You know what I mean? So
you know what's going to happen with Michael Thomas?
Yeah, and then Michael Thomas, slant boy, just, you know, when he is there, he's only running slants, and when he's not, it's 90% of the time he's banged up and he's got an injury. So, you know, there's a lot that goes into that. They're also
I wonder if then they got Jarvis, but we all know Jarvis has been hurt too last season.
Yeah,
so
they're gonna be, if they're healthy, I think obviously they take the division at this moment.
Because like we were talking about last night, honestly, Mike, who can touch? You know, now that they got Derek Carr, who can really touch them in that division? Honestly,
the Bucs can definitely still touch them. I feel like, and I think that's something. If the Bucs were to bring in a Jimmy Garoppolo or somebody along those lines, and they're still right in it, because you still got Mike Evans, you still got Chris Godwin, you still got a bunch of these other guys.
Oh,
still
absolutely,
got a pretty decent defense. So, but I mean, if things fall apart for the Bucs and they rock out with Kyle Trask or, you know,
I was going to ask you, what do you think Kyle Trask does now that maybe he finally gets his opportune moment to have his time in Tampa?
I liked Kyle out of college. I thought Kyle was pretty solid. I thought he did a lot of good things. And I felt like sitting behind Brady was probably one of the coolest experiences you could have. And two, you know, the guy becomes, you know, one of the greatest players to ever play a sport, and you're sitting behind him for a couple years. So I'm curious to see what he's learned from Tom, and I'm curious to see how his development works. And you know, the thing about Kyle is, you know, he's in a better situation than I would say Justin Fields, Trey Lance, or a bunch of other guys, because it's definitely his job to have. And I think, you know, there isn't, if they believe in him, you know, if they bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, it's not. But you know, you have all these weapons. You have a guy like Bruce Arians and a bunch of other guys still in the facility. So Kyle has no excuse to really just not be decent. So I think that's really something for me. I'm excited to see what he could potentially do in like a training camp scenario or OTAs or just preseason in general. But I don't really have too many expectations for him, but I also think he could surprise a lot of people.
And I think Tampa really has to give him the opportunity to prove it, either yes or no, if he can handle it or not handle it. And if he can't, then they got to go back to the drawing board and figure out, you know, where do they go from there. But, I mean, I think you got to give Kyle his time to see, you know, what you got in him. Otherwise, you're just paying the guy to ride a pine for no damn reason. I mean, give the guy an opportunity, and he'll either make something of it or he won't, you know. Same with Derek Carr, man. I think he made the right decision going with New Orleans, because it's, like I said, it's a little bit easier division. If he goes out there with the Jets, you know, he's still got to contend with, you know, the Bills and possibly the Dolphins if they can keep Tua healthy. A little bit tougher division. Hell, the AFC as a whole is a lot tougher, in my opinion, than the NFC is right now. So I definitely think, you know, being in the NFC, he'll have an easier route than he would if he was with the Jets.
I think it was a good move for the Saints and Carr, but the only thing that worries me about it goes kind of to what Mike was saying. The Saints don't have no salary cap room.
What are
the weapons? What are the weapons around them going to look like? Because if I remember right, they're like $50 million over the salary cap as of now. So there's going to be some guys that might not be there.
Yeah.
Oh, there are going to be some cuts. It's going to be interesting to see who they cut. I think Michael Thomas probably would be my first cut. I think more like, because Mike was saying, how often is he really on the field? So what are you paying the guy for? I just go ahead and cut him and move on from him. I think it's time. And I think Alvin Kamara is not too far behind that with all the legal issues he's going through.
Yeah.
And let's be honest. You can get a running back either the draft or even in free agency. I mean, Fournette is still out there roaming around.
Fournette's not Alvin Kamara, but yeah.
Oh, no, trust me. I'm not by any means saying he's Alvin Kamara. But for cap purposes, you know, you might better make that work.
Hell no.
You're gonna have to take some mediocre players somewhere because of the amount of money you're over right now. So
they need to keep Kamara. I'd get rid of Michael Thomas and guys like that before I get rid of Kamara. Unless Kamara's gonna get suspended for like a season.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what they say? The best ability is availability, baby. And if you can't get on the damn field, what are you really doing? Other than spending money.
Well, Deshaun Watson got $200 million, and he's not.
But he's getting ready to restructure that. He's already come out and said the Browns said they're going to restructure, and he agreed to it. Now I understand it's talk.
Right.
We got to see if he actually.
There ain't no way I'm restructuring that motherfucker. You guys gave me that money. That's my money. I'm not giving none of it back to you.
No. Hell no.
But I don't think it would be him giving it back. I mean, the guarantee is still the guarantee. He may just take less money per year, or maybe they backload it or something like that. You know, I mean, I still think he gets all the money.
There ain't no way I'm giving any of that money back. But Nate thinks the Panthers are going to be the team in the South.
I mean, I don't think they're far out. Yeah, I mean, that's a great question too. Is what Anthony brings it up is that changes everything right now, and we're gonna find out later today what kind of happens with that. The non-exclusive.
You know what's gonna damn well happen. He's gonna get franchise tagged.
He's gonna get tagged. Everybody knows he's gonna get tagged.
But I think they're gonna do the non-exclusive, where he'll be allowed to talk to.
And they probably will, but I think at the end of the day, I don't think Lamar's going anywhere.
I shouldn't say I think that. That's the reports I've been seeing.
I think Atlanta overpays. I really do. I think they were really in on getting Deshaun Watson, and they understood that, they thought they got Deshaun Watson. That was one of the biggest things, is they thought they had that deal done, and then here comes swoops in. So I think they're 0 for 1 right now in getting a quarterback. Obviously, Ritter, I don't hate Ritter, but Ritter's also not like the guy that you think, in the short term is going to be that guy. I don't really think he is. I
think Ritter's a solid backup in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's too early for me to say like that he couldn't start somewhere. I haven't seen enough from him, and it would have been nice to see him with Calvin Ridley and to see him with Kyle Pitts healthy and everything like that. But I think right now, if it's non-exclusive, I say Atlanta ends up with Lamar Jackson, and he probably ends up being the highest paid quarterback ever.
If you put Lamar with Pitts, that's putting Lamar with another Andrews in Baltimore. They just got to get some weapons around him, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they got a couple guys though. Like, I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, Kyle Pitts is a solid tight end, and he's one of those vertical, two-dimensional guys. It's also kind of like a Travis Kelce. He could be your number one wide receiver. Drake London's really solid. I like Drake London a lot, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. Cordell Patterson. They have that other kid too, Tyler. I forgot, Atler or something. He's their running back. He's a rookie. He's a solid kid.
They have some good young talent.
Yeah, they have a lot of talent on that roster, and they have a lot of wide receivers that, Lamar could really look at. He likes his tight ends. You got Kyle Pitts. You got a really good guy. Drake London's going in the year 2. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens because, if ATL gets a quarterback in Lamar Jackson and they draft correctly, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I think Derek Carr is a big part of that. If they didn't get Derek Carr in that same division, then obviously the Falcons probably wouldn't be that crazy about getting Lamar. But it's definitely, you're pushing some buttons right now, making these moves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same with the Panthers too. Like, the Panthers weren't going to trade up with the Bears for number 1, but now there's rumors they'll move everything to get number 1. And it's because all these domino effects are happening.
Trying to keep up in your division.
Right.
I'm telling you, listen, we were talking about that the other day. I said, man, look, Bears are not keeping number 1. There's no way in hell Bears stay at number 1.
No.
Every damn team, from Seattle to the Raiders to the Carolina Panthers to whoever else is in the mix. I mean, they're going to have Houston. Maybe they want to bump up to number 1 if they feel like they can't get Bryce Young at 2. I'm telling you, there are going to be so many scenarios that's going to hit Chicago within the, leading up to that draft. It's going to be insanity, man. I'm telling you, watch.
Yeah. I really don't pay too much attention to it just because there's so many different ways it can go. It's not even really worth the time exploring all these different versions because there's millions of different outcomes. There could be 2 trade downs. They could trade down from 1 to 4 to 9 to so many different versions. I'm just Hey, get whatever you got to get, and we could go from there, and then we'll talk about it. Rob Scott.
Yeah, Rob.
Hey, Rob over there drinking that Hennessy and Coke. He ain't drinking that rail stuff, Mike. I saw him the other day on Facebook. I said, man, look at he living his best life.
Gives more.
Yeah, man.
Looks like Roger's going to the Jets.
Hey, I'm telling you, whew.
Or DJ Moore to the Bears. Yeah, that'd be crazy as fuck. That would be
Well,
nuts.
you've been saying that you don't have a wide receiver, so and we all know that's.
I don't want DJ Moore. I mean, I like DJ Moore. I'm not mad at
DJ Moore be all right, but not as number one.
No, it's not even like DJ Moore is the number one wide receiver. It's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, I think he is a really good wide receiver. And I think if he was on, that's why the Chiefs wanted to make a move for him, you know, and that's why the Panthers aren't giving him up. It's because he's young. But like what would piss me off is, and I talked to Rob about it, I don't want a guy like DJ. And I love T. Higgins, but it's hard to get T. Higgins too because he's on a contract year. So's Chase Claypool, so's Darnell Mooney. That's 1, 2, and 3 of our wide receivers are all going to be on contract years in the same year. And that's just, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to lose everybody. So I would rather have a rookie. I don't have to pay for the next 4 or 5 and then, you know, re-sign Claypool or re-sign Mooney, whichever one you want to take. But I'm not trying to lose all 3 of my wide receivers in one go.
I'll tell you this. There have been numerous accounts I've seen where D-Hop is obviously wanting to trade. Brandon Cooks over there in Houston wants to trade. You know, could Chicago pull the trigger on either one of those guys?
I don't want either of them, to be honest. I really don't. And I like D-Hop. I'm not going to say no to D-Hop. Like, he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best in the game. But I want somebody in this scenario. If Justin Fields was in year 4 or 5, Mike, would you bring back Allen Robinson? I'll lose my left nut before I bring back Allen Robinson. But
wow.
Yeah, no, fuck Allen Robinson. You wanted to go get your money, go fuck around and get your money. But yeah, man, I think I want somebody that's going to grow with Fields, someone that, you know, they're around the same age, kind of like that Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, that, you know, that kind of Tua versus Waddle kind of conversation where you look at it and you go, listen, these two are going to grow together and these two are going to be together for a very long time. Kind of like Tom and Gronk. You know, you just want these guys to be together. D-Hop's 31. You know what I mean? Like that's not something that Rob Scott, but that's not something that you could see long term and say, oh, this kid's going to build with Justin Fields. Their chemistry is going to be great. D-Hop's been banged up. He's been on, you know, getting fined for steroids, getting suspended, a bunch of other things. Like, D-Hop's not really, or even Devontae Adams. Like, I love Devontae Adams, but it's like, get ready because he's talking with the Bears. Dustin, I love you, Dustin. No, he's not. Like, no, he's not. Like, he's not a free agent. He's not talking.
He's like, hey, how much can we piss off Mike Hughes on the afternoon blitz before he loses it?
He's not talking to. Oh yeah, he signed to the Cardinals, but he's definitely talking to the Bears. The Cardinals might be talking to the Bears about it. I'm sure. Fucking no.
Well, you know, I saw in the combine, you know, Addison was supposed to be the top wide receiver, but he had a really slow 40 time. I think that guy, what's that dude out of Ohio? God, I cannot say his name for shit. Huh?
Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Thank you. I can never say that.
I just call him JSN. Like that's
there you go. Well, that's what I'm gonna start doing. So yeah, JSN. You know, hey, did Fields play with him? You know, before he came out, right? So he's got a little.
It was a very brief.
Right. I was gonna say there's a little bit. Right. So yeah, what would it hurt if the Bears went out and then tag him with?
Yeah, Smith had some injuries. Smith had injuries this season.
Smith banged up pretty bad, but you know, Fields is number one guy with Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. Those were Fields' guys, but he does know JSN. They do know each other. Yeah, they do know each other very well. And that's what I've been saying all year. You know, I think Jordan Addison's a hell of an athlete. I think he's going to be one hell of a player, but I want that connection with Justin Fields that's already there. It's not something that you need to build. You know, this is something you guys did in college. And, you know, it's not, I'm not going to say it's the next Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. I'm not going to say that because obviously, you know, it's two very different conversations. And Jamar Chase is one of the best generational players out here. And so is Joe Burrow, you know, so, you know, that's something you need to look at, but that chemistry is something where you're not just dealing with a rookie wide receiver that you need to learn, and he needs to learn the NFL. Like, you two can help each other. You two already know each other for several years, and it's something that I think would benefit both the Bears and JSN if he were to get a guy like Justin Fields, and it benefits Justin. But the only thing is, can JSN stay healthy once he gets here? It's kind of a Chicago thing to really just, the second you get off the plane is your ACL and suffering.
That was his problem this season because
Ohio
State offense could have even been scarier if you'd had him out there with Marvin Harrison Jr.
I mean, I think they win a national championship. I truly do. If JSN was healthy, and he was healthy, he was good enough to play at that point in time during the playoffs. He just didn't want to because I wouldn't either. You know what I mean?
Harrison Jr. got hurt.
Yeah, I really wouldn't play either. So you got a murderer in the defensive line in Jalen Carter, so I wouldn't want to play against him either. Guy's a killer, man. That guy.
Yeah, man. Hey,
after it.
I don't care how you cut it, slice it, however you want to word it. Carter should have been in jail, man. Fuck that guy. He should be in jail.
No, I mean, I won't. I really.
Well, no. Look. If you're part of the reckless driving and everything that led up to that crash, your ass was right there with him.
I wasn't there. I was just kidding. I was making a jokey joke, but I can't do that when Jay's on here because Jay takes. Jay takes my jokey jokes too serious.
Guys are dead. Like this dude. I have very low tolerance when a guy is going to the opposite flow of traffic. They're zigzagging around other people, putting their lives in danger, kill two people. You're a part of it. You may not have been driving the car that wrecked, but you were just as part of that as they were. And that's just one of the things that has always irked me is people that just put other people's lives in danger. I have a hard time with that.
Yeah, I feel that.
And I think that just goes from what I've seen out here where, out here, even in Georgia, man, they drive crazy, man. I mean, hey, Mike, I had a guy the other day, I kid you not, I was going up the road. I was going about maybe 45 miles an hour. Kid you not. This young kid comes blaring up on his Ninja or Katana, whatever the hell bike he had on. He was going so fast, he didn't even stop. And he got right up on my ass, and then he went around and then came back. I swear to God, if I would have even tapped the brake, this dude would have been over my hood, and I would have ran his ass over. And I see people do that, and it's just like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I get that. But it's also something like, and this is coming from someone who used to do a lot of illegal street racing, is, it's definitely something where I can't blame Jalen Carter for them crashing their car. Like, you can get him and there's conversations about him fleeing the scene and lying to police and all this stuff, but it's not like he crashed into them. They lost control.
Hey, that's like, you know what though, Mike? That's like watch this. That's like me driving a car with a dude that's got a gun in that motherfucker. He gets out, he goes in there, he shoots somebody, and I'm not. It's
not at all. It's not at all. But like, what are you charging him with?
I didn't even know he had a gun, Mike. I didn't even know he had a gun, but yet I'm going to jail as accessory.
But what are you charging him with?
See, that's what people don't understand.
But I don't think you understand.
Be an accomplice or an accessory.
Jay,
you gotta be.
But Jay, what are you talking about? Like, what are you charging him with?
I'm charging him with vehicular manslaughter as an accessory or as an accomplice because you were part of it. You were encouraged. Had he not been a part of it, or he had not contributed to that street race, would there have even been a street race? Would there have been a need for these cars to go and do what they were?
If I walk outside tomorrow,
it's called accomplice. You're not saying you did it, but you were an accomplice. Or you were an accessory to the crime. How do you mean how?
What do you?
I just told you, Mike. I can't make it any clearer. I can't. Let me draw you some diagrams. Hold on, Mark. Let's play, if you will. Let's play Pictionary, Mike.
No, because you're about to say some dumb shit, and it's just no. Like that's not how the law works. You cannot.
How does the law work, Mike? Tell me how the law works.
You have to kill somebody.
Not true.
Yes. Not true. Fucking talking about, bro?
What do you mean? What am I talking? I just gave you an example. Do we got to go back to Pictionary?
If I'm racing against you, if me and you are racing, right, and you lose control of your vehicle and my car does not touch you, that's you, bro. That's you. Like, that shit had nothing to do with me. Now, if I leave
the minute you took part,
Jay, wait, hold on, Jay. If I leave the
part in the race, you became an accessory.
That is not bro.
How do you figure? If there's no race, there's no crash. What role did you play in it?
Okay, and if I walk
you're
outside
basically
tomorrow
saying
and
that
get
he
shot by
organized the
12
race.
dudes, it's totally different.
Whether it was organized or not, you were still a participant of an illegal race.
Right. And
It
tomorrow,
resulted in
hey,
people dying.
tomorrow, if I walk outside my house and I get shot 5 times by some dude in a car and my neighbor's standing outside taking a leak by a tree, guess what? He's not an accessory just because he was outside.
Of course not. Oh, why would he be? Because he didn't drive.
But why am I in
the gun there?
How am I
If the
going
guy
to-
drives the guy with the gun there, but yet doesn't know the gun is there, he's still an accessory.
Jay, he was not in the same car. He was in his own car.
Sometimes, Gonzo, the elevator makes it to the 9th floor, but never makes it to the 10th.
I could
It just
tell.
happens.
I could
It,
tell.
it happens. It
You
happens.
didn't even leave.
Because I literally
Here's the
shot
thing.
him in the head with the point of the argument, and it was weird. It was like the rubber bullet went like this and then went like this. It was like he was playing like what's that show where they can
Why do you think he hasn't been arrested?
Yeah, but with the evidence,
arrested and then they let him go.
when the evidence that's
Why
came
you
out,
think they let him go?
with the evidence that
It's
came
because he
out,
posted bond.
the only thing I think that you could
You
really get
hold on. You do understand he has to go to an arraignment, right? You
And
understand
Jay,
that?
you understand if you're going to jail for murdering somebody, there is no bond.
Guy, he was let out a $4,000 bond with an arraignment on the 18th of, I believe it's the 18th.
but they've
And if
charged him
I
with
shot you right now, there would be
But
no
it's not
bond.
over with, Gonzo. They still could put more charges. That's still not all the way there.
Well, here's what I'm saying, Jay. With the
Okay,
evidence,
but then don't. Okay, no, hold on, Gonzo. Because if that's true, if maybe there are going to be more charges that are coming, wait for it, bro. Don't just say this dude's a murderer.
Hold on, I'm entitled to my damn opinion. It's America. I fought for my damn right to have an opinion,
yeah,
and I'm
you-
giving you my
man,
opinion.
You trying to kill this kid? For
But it is
doing
what it
something he
is.
didn't do.
Hey, it's only an opinion. I'm not saying you have to agree with me. It's just my
It's
personal
that
belief.
way, bro.
It's my personal belief.
with the evidence that's came out so far, I think the only thing that they're going to be able to get him on is probably fleeing the scene and lying to the police.
Yeah, probably.
And that's going to be 2 misdemeanors.
Well, fleeing the scene is a felony.
No, in Georgia, it's a misdemeanor.
So you said what now?
In Georgia, it's a misdemeanor. Both charges that they're trying to charge him with are misdemeanors.
Yeah.
No, the reckless driving, and there was another one. It wasn't fleeing the scene. There was 2 charges he was given.
They're both
Fleeing the scene was a third one.
That's what I'm saying. But the charges they charge him with are both misdemeanors. So he's not even
I
getting
think
charged. with
one was reckless. I forget what the actual 2. But fleeing the scene wasn't the original 2 that he was brought in for processing on. It was 2 completely. One was
Right
reckless.
over
There was
his
another
head.
one in there.
Right over his head.
What do you think about Aaron Rodgers possibly going to the Jets? And what do you think the Jets are going to end up giving up for Aaron Rodgers?
I don't think it'd be too crazy. I mean, because I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of money tied to Rodgers. I don't even know how that's going to work. I'm curious to see who ends up paying more. I think that kind of determines it. Like if the Packers pay a lot of that off, then I think they probably get more assets and they get more picks in return. But if you're telling me, $50+ million is going to the New York Jets right now, I wouldn't give up the sun and the moon for a year and maybe a year of Aaron Rodgers. But I think it'll be great for the organization. I think it'll be great for the team. I think Garrett Wilson, guys like that, Corey Davis. I mean, Breece Hall is going to be coming back. You got CJ Ozuma. I think they're going to be solid. I think they're going to be a good squad with Aaron Rodgers. And I think they still got Robinson. Aaron Rodgers is a cancer, but Duke can ball. You know what I mean? Like, I think they'll have a winning record. I don't know if they, we're not having Super Bowl conversations, but I think it's definitely going to be a better team than the biggest cancer in the room. That's actually Zach Wilson. So I think that's definitely interesting.
By the way, the code in Georgia on fleeing the scene hold on. I'm going to read the code. This is no bullshit. This is factual. The code goes on to explain how leaving the scene can quickly become a felony if there are serious injuries and or death in the accident, and you do not follow the above rules. You can be convicted of a felony and suffer the following punishments: imprisonment for at least 1 year up to 5, depending. So, again, for everyone out there telling you that Georgia is not a felony for fleeing the scene, you just tell them this.
Hey, there's one
you tell them this.
There's
Okay.
one key word there. Can. It didn't say it.
No.
automatically a felony.
The word can. The word no. Don't get possible. The word can means if it results in death. Hello, 2 people died.
Jay McLovin.
That's a damn felony.
Jay
There's no
McLovin.
chance.
Jay, can I ask you a question?
I love you guys, but damn.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, absolutely.
Why are you arguing with facts?
You know,
Wait, can I ask you? Like, wait. I wasn't done. I had a two-parter.
Oh, damn. Well, you didn't tell me it was 2-part. You said,
my bad. I have ADD, so it came a little later.
I do too. So that's
It's all right. I know. Game recognized game, baby. I know.
Hey, actually, according to the local psychologist, I have ADHD.
Oh, you're
that's
even
crazy.
That's
now
totally
I'm hyperactive.
Totally different. Yeah, ADD. You know what I always say? ADD and the difference between ADD. Like my cousin has ADHD. I have ADD. The difference is I'll sit in class and be thinking about like smoking weed or something, and he'll sit in class and he'll throw a book at the teacher's head. That's the total difference. Like, what the fuck? He'll be like, "Damn, this kid's crazy." But I'm playing. But yeah. So like, Jay,
go ahead. I'm sorry. What was the second part?
Like, so the cops came out, right? They went out. Now, this is a fact. Adam Schefter reported it. ESPN reported it. First Take, everything reported it. They go out and they go, listen, 2 misdemeanors. That's what he's being charged. And then Jay gonna come on here and be mad at me and Gonzo for telling you what the police told everybody else. Don't be mad at me, Jay. Go talk to. You should be the judge. You should be the lawyer for the other people.
No, I'm not smart enough to be a lawyer now. Don't get me involved in that shit, because I'll get you locked up. Listen, I won't even know how to read half them indictments.
Gonzo is providing the facts that were provided to him. This is not our opinion. This is not us saying we think it's a misdemeanor. It is a misdemeanor. 2 of them. So it's not like we're sitting here and saying, and this is because we want everybody watching to know too. I don't give a fuck what happens to Jalen Carter. I truly do not. At the end of the day, I live in a place and I grew up in a place where it's totally different where you come from, and your decisions are your decisions. Just like Jay said. Hey, just like Jay said, if you get into the car with a guy with a gun, you gotta know who the fuck you getting in the car with. And that's, even if you didn't know, you got to know who you get in the car with. And I think that's something very important that not a lot of people look at. So, God bless them. I hope they're resting in peace. I understand the staff member and obviously the player passed away, but you're both still fucking stupid for doing what you were doing. And that's just what it is. And if people are mad at me about it,
and technicality, the 2 misdemeanors that he is referring to is racing and reckless driving. Those were the misdemeanors. Now, if he gets charged with the fleeing, that he did, because he did flee the scene. So if he gets charged with fleeing, then that would become the felony. So then you have 2 misdemeanors and a felony. So really, I guess at this point, we got to see if he actually gets charged with fleeing the scene. Now,
and I want to address Mickey really quick, because I'm gonna keep it a beam with you, and dude, like, you don't know me, bro. Like, that's the crazy. My best friend. We're not even gonna get in too deep. Oh, my bad, Frank. Hey, I'll be smooth. My best friend in middle school, bro, got killed. And it was a scenario where he put himself in that scenario. And if you put yourself in certain scenarios and you put yourself in these instances where, you might get into a situation where, hey, you might lose your life or you might go to jail. Of course, hey, do I miss bro every day? Of course. But am I going to sit here and be like, man, that never should have happened? No, because at the end of the day, bro, if you put yourself in these situations, hey, the great late Paul Walker, love Paul Walker. Paul Walker was the shit. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Frank, but I think I got to pass. Paul Walker was the shit.
He was. Hey, seriously, I love Paul Walker.
Hey, but you going 130 in a 30.
What you gonna do?
Stupid actions get stupid results, and that's just really what the world.
Well, hell, look at Henry Ruggs in a Corvette. You're doing 156 miles an hour, and you slam into a car and it blows up.
I don't know how true this is, but my buddy sent it to me today. It said he might get out or something.
Bro, no, it's no. What you're saying is true. I saw that same thing.
I didn't know if it was facts. That's why I didn't know.
No. They're having a hard time right now trying to find a judge.
What about Ruggs?
Someone told me.
Bro, seriously, go read about Ruggs. No. Listen, they are having a hard time finding a judge that will hear the Ruggs case, because it seems like there's always an issue whether they know the prosecutor knows a judge. There's all these different mitigating circumstances that he has not been able to even get to a court date yet. So, I mean, hey, to say that he could or could not get out, who knows? Shit.
So if they can't find,
hey,
if
it's
they
a
can't find
crazy
a judge, so if they can't find a judge to try his case, they just gonna let him go. I mean,
I don't think they'll let him go. Eventually, they're
I don't
going to get to court. But
how the
I
hell
wouldn't be surprised.
how the
Hey,
hell that work?
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a loophole that they could find again. Look, with the judicial system, it's crooked as all hell. We all know the judicial system's broke. I wouldn't be surprised if he does find a loophole.
On the gang, Billy Buzz. Come on, cut. That's
Live
not.
by the sword, you die by the sword, baby.
Nah, I mean that's over here you say you live by the gun, you die by the gun, but I mean
Pretty much.
is what it is, like, and that's why, like, to Mickey's comment too, like, I don't think dudes know where I am for real. Like, that's the crazy. Like, I see stuff like that happen every single day. Dudes that live by the gun and die by the gun. Like, if you want to pay, you got to play, and that's really what it is. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if that's the route you want to go in life, whether it's banging or selling or whatever it is,
Bro, you know, rough DC, Mike. I can't tell you how many times in DC specifically I saw 12-year-olds running down the street with their hand behind their back, and do damn good well what that kid had in his hand. Yeah. Hey, I would that DC, from my experience of it, was so crazy. I wouldn't fuck with nobody. I didn't talk to nobody. I didn't ask nobody, because even with the kids, those kids. They're out there stealing cars and wrecking them into telephone poles, running out, and you can see they got guns in their hand. I'm like, oh man, hell no.
That's the thing.
I stay in my house. I'm a good white man. I stay in my house. I don't go nowhere.
That's the thing. We all do stupid shit and take a risk, but you got
shit.
You got to make a decision on how big a risk you're going to take, because the bigger risk you take, the harder the punishment's going to be, and sometimes it's unfortunately you're going to be gone, but.
Right.
And to Anthony Price's comment, you're probably right, Anthony, because when I first got to DC, they had just getting ready to start building the Nationals baseball stadium, and DC went through gentrification, where all of the lower income were being forced out to places like Virginia, Maryland. So Virginia and Maryland really got all of DC's crime wave, I guess you could call it, pushed out that direction, and all the rich folk moved in. So yeah, I have no doubt that. Well, Baltimore's if you've never been to Baltimore, I've been to Baltimore. Baltimore's another crazy place. I've been
to Baltimore.
Hey, there's a lot of damn crime out there too. Shit.
I've been to DC as well.
Yeah, man. But I love DC. I loved it from the moment I fell in love with that city. There's just so much to do. There's so much history. It's stupid. But anyway, on to better things. So the Jets are title contenders now if they get Rodgers?
Yeah.
I'm asking. I'm not.
Yeah. I do.
I think so as well.
I think so.
When's the last time Rodgers had a top 15 defense?
And I think Robert Saleh is the defensive-minded guy that you want in that room. And I think there's so many different levels to it right now that nobody's looking at. Breece Hall.
I was about to say, and he's coming off that injury. So let me ask you this, Mike. I'm glad you saw it. When Breece Hall went down with injury, probably going to get Rookie of the Year. How do you think Breece Hall comes back off this? Was it an ACL? I think it was ACL, wasn't it? Something like that.
It was. It was something. It was fucked up. That's what it was.
What I'm saying is, do you think
Gonzo? I love Gonzo.
Do you think Breece Hall comes back this season and picks up where he left off?
100%. I think the way, it's. See, I hate Jay because he says this season, and it's like, well, maybe because you look at Saquon had a hell of a year. But the year Saquon came back from his ACL tear, it was kind of slow. Fuck you, Frankie Cruz. What are you going to do about it? But
No. You cannot say that anymore. Frank is in an executive position now within ASAP organization. He can totally shut us down, Mike.
Hey, Frankie, how much does that executive position pay?
He said, hey, man, we don't get paid over here at ASAP. We get paid in dope. How much do you get per position?
Wait, hold on. So, I think it's
Wait a minute. We got to address that real quick. What Jay just said does not apply to the ASAP Sports Network. We do not pay people with dope.
Watch this. I don't think we got left eye, but watch this.
ASAP be getting all kinds of phone calls.
I've never seen Jay without glasses. I don't like it. But
we have all kinds of new people what they come on board. But
Do we? Because I just be seeing us every afternoon.
No,
but
I'm
that's
saying Jay said ASAP pays paying with dope. I said we have all kinds of new people signing up to be on ASAP.
100%. 100%. Nah, we get paid in dues. But anyways, yeah, I think it's everybody's different. Everybody's different, and that's really what it comes down to. A guy like Jamal Williams. Wait, no. What's his name? Javonte Williams. There you go. Come on, kid. You know me. Fuck with the kid. I got it right. I was gonna be so mad if I left this show and then just realized I said it wrong. I do love Jamal Williams though. But yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with both of those running backs. Obviously, they had season-ending injuries, and it's a crazy thing. I was a hybrid safety running back, and I remember I used to tell Jay McLovin all the time when we would do the after it was like around 6. We used to do it like a year ago. We used to do a show, man. I remember I'd be playing safety, and I would take a shot to the knee, just like tackling somebody. And then next drive, I'm playing running back, and like you just feel it, bro. You feel it. So I haven't had a catastrophic knee injury like that, but I've torn my Achilles, and it's definitely a different breed trying to.
That Achilles injury is pretty damn catastrophic.
Yeah, but listen, bro.
The Achilles is more catastrophic than the damn ACL. ACL ain't whatever, but that Achilles. Oh, hell
hey, coming from the guy who did it. It's like the thing is, I tore my Achilles over the summer during my playoff run for my baseball league. I did it in the divisional round. So we had the wild card, divisional, semi-conference, and then championship. I made it all the way to the championship, and I played on the Achilles. And that's just – but, like, I've seen dudes tear their ACL. Nah. Like, you jogging – you getting carried to the car. Like it's not happening. Like an Achilles is like a weird thing because like even Kobe, you saw Kobe when he tore his Achilles, he still hit 2 shots right after. He was like, nah, I'm all right. Like, there's still movement that you can do with that. But that ACL, that shit kills your entire. Mike is a young Chris. They have more medical bills and dude, swear to God, me and Chris be dying, bro. Me and Chris be dying. Like they be trying to take us out for real in these worlds.
People are trying to take out Chris. Hell, man, they didn't even know he had stitches right above his butthole until about a week or so. And that was only by accident. Like Chris said, "Oh, yo, doc, hey, what about these stitches you left about 2 weeks ago? Are these things coming out anytime soon?"
Chris, bro, I'm gonna tell you something right now, man. Hey, don't let none of these guys talk to you like that. Don't let none of them go crazy on you. Chris, at the end of the day, brother.
For your right to party!
Yeah, dude, I walked into the doctor's office for the checkup after the surgery. And he says, let me see. He goes, let me see this. I showed him the scar, and he goes, oh yeah, I got to cut those stitches out. I'm thinking, so if I wouldn't have had an appointment, you wouldn't go take the stitches out?
Hell no. But hey, I got to bounce. I'm going to mess with y'all later. I'm going to catch you.
Oh, now you're going to bounce. Man, you just got us all hyped up, and now you're going to bounce. You son of a...
That's what I do, bro. I get people mad excited, and I really disappoint. That's what I love to do. But I'm going to catch y'all on the flip-flop. I'm like the Chicago Bears, baby. I get you there, but then I let
before you go, play the jabroni. I can't find it, but play the jabroni clip for Gonzo, man.
Oh, I gotta find it now. Nah, you know what?
You should have had that already.
I'll do you a favor. I'll do you one better, Jay McLovin. If you find out how to actually understand the court of law, I'll play it. You jabroni.
If he wasn't such a damn derelict, I'd give him a kiss.
I did, Frankie. I did too. Once everything went blue, I knew he was getting ready to play that video. Change the color to blue.
I don't know what got changed to blue. I didn't even know. Was their names blue or something or what?
The background went blue and everything because he switched from this brand. To
yeah, I got you.
Like if I clicked on unscripted brand, everything would change to green.
Yeah, man.
What do you think about Rodgers going with the Jets? You think it makes them legitimate contenders in the AFC?
Well,
AFC's tough.
Here's what I'm curious about. This is what I'm curious about. They got what's that guy's name? The wide receiver, is it Gilbert? Is that his name? Their number one wideout. Oh,
Wilson, Garrett Wilson, isn't it?
There you go. Thank you. My brain is no. They got one good wideout. They have one good running back. The problem where the Jets, when the Jets bring in Rodgers, he's going to rework that contract. He's already said that he was willing to restructure his contract to facilitate a trade. So I do think he facilitates the trade with a reduced, or I shouldn't say reduced, but restructured contract, which I think gives him some flexibility in there. My question is, what are the Jets going to do to support Rodgers in terms of, we know offensive line can be an issue with them, right? We know offensive line can be an issue. We also know that I still think they either need another wide receiver or they need a tight end to really complement what Rodgers needs to do there. The defense is on point, no issues there. So my point is, when they go into the draft, now I don't know what they're going to have to give up to get Rodgers. I haven't seen the deal, so I don't know if there's draft picks involved or whatever the case may be. But the Jets need to do something either in free agency or this draft to support that offensive line and either a wide receiver or a tight end to go along with the other wide receiver they have to really help him out. You know what I'm saying? Because as good as Aaron Rodgers is, just like he was in Green Bay, you got to give that man some weapons. He has a running back, great. He's got one good wide receiver, great. But where else is he going?
I think they need to get another receiver and then shore up the offensive line, and they'll be in good shape.
Well, yeah, and the good thing about it is like we said earlier in the show, you got D-Hop that's available out there via trade, so they have to figure out how they're going to work that trade if they wanted to go that direction. Or you got Brandon Cooks over there with Houston. I mean, that's a couple of good wide receivers right there. You just got to figure out how you work it, right? Or there is a decent wide receiver class in the draft, or maybe you just address it through the draft. So, but no, can they be title contenders?
I guess
if they shore up the offensive line a little bit and give it maybe one more offensive weapon, yeah, absolutely, they're going to be title contenders, no doubt about it.
Reports are that the Jets have talked to the Packers and Rodgers about a potential trade. So if they're speaking to Rodgers, I think there's a good chance that it could maybe happen.
I just wonder what exactly is Green Bay going to want in lieu of the trade.
Yeah,
are they going to ask for a first and a second, two first? I mean, what are they looking for?
Yeah, that's going to be the thing. Is how much compensation is the Packers going to ask for to trade for him?
And then you have to put yourselves in the minds of the Jets organization. If I'm the Jets general manager, I'm thinking to myself, okay, look, I got a potential here to get Rodgers at 39 years old. He is a guy that every year I'm going to have to deal with dark therapy. I'm going to have to deal with, is he going to, uplift? Is he going to play the end of his contract? There's so many, because just like Brett Favre, every damn year, you don't know which way Rodgers is going.
If I'm the GM of the Jets, I'm talking to Green Bay, seeing what the compensation is, and then I'm talking to Rodgers, and I'm saying, look, if I'm going to give up this much to get your ass here, I'm trying to get some kind of guarantee that he's at least going to be there for at least two years at the least. You know what I mean? I think
as attractive as it sounds,
conversation with Rodgers, they're making a big mistake. If they don't have that conversation and see,
absolutely, they're making a mistake if they don't.
Hey, we want you, but we want you for at least 2 seasons. We don't want you as a 1-year rental. We need you at least for 2 years if we're going to give up assets for you.
And that's the thing. Really. No, but that's the thing, though. Here's the problem, though. But here's the problem I have. Gonzo, hold on. Here's the problem I have. Rodgers' name, his name and who he is very, very attractive. Yeah. It's very seductive. It's very tempting, that you want to pounce on. The problem with it is he is 39. He is wishy-washy as to what he's going to do at the end of every season. So is the risk, because I'll be honest with you, he is a reward, but is the risk of getting him going to be worth the reward? In other words, can they still get a title with him? The problem is, how do you know? How do you know? Because you don't know his mindset 24/7, what he does at the end of every season. And you're giving up a lot for a guy that's damn near 40. You're really putting a lot of eggs in that basket.
That's what I'm saying. I think it depends on how much the Packers want and then it's going to depend on if say I'm the GM for the Jets and I'm going to make I'm looking to make this deal, trying to do like you said, risk reward. Well, how much do I got to give up? And then I'm having a conversation with Rodgers and trying to gauge where he's at to see, hey, if I bring him in, is he going to be here at least 2 seasons? Right. And if I don't feel like he's going to play at least 2 seasons with me, I don't. That would probably make me not make the deal, because if you're giving up say you give up a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and some players, that's too much to give up for 1 season.
Yeah, with the way that they go, with the way they go all in for Aaron Rodgers, you're either A, going to look like the best thing since sliced bread and you'll be a title contender, everything goes your direction, or B, you're going to look like the biggest donkey because you gave up all of your future draft capital that you needed or players that you needed, and now instead of him helping you, he actually set your organization back, 1 or 2 years in draft capital. Because you got to imagine, at the very least, I got to be honest, I think at the very least, Packers are probably looking for at very least 2 first-rounders and maybe a player. At the very least, let's say 2 first-rounders. So that means you got to give up the first-rounder this year, and you got to give up the first-rounder next year. And that means you're stuck with 2nd, 3rd, and 4th-round picks to adjust your team outside of free agency. So, again, there's a lot of reward with Aaron Rodgers, but there's a lot of risk that goes with Aaron Rodgers. I'll be honest with you. You're really playing Russian roulette with that football team. To me, the Jets it kind of scares me almost to a point where I think I would rather almost give those draft picks up to Chicago and try to get a damn first-round quarterback, either a Bryce Young or a Stroud. For me, I would feel better with my organization going that direction than trying to play the hit-or-miss game with an Aaron Rodgers.
To me, it just depends on what you have to give up, and I don't know exactly what they're going to have to give up yet. And can you, like AP also said, if I'm the Jets, if we're making a trade, I'm gonna try to get the Packers to eat some of the Rodgers cap hit. You know what I mean?
And again, they may. Again, I think he restructures, so there may not be as big of a cap hit if he restructures. But yeah, there will be a certain cap hit. I'm not going to say the cap hit's not there, but are the Packers really willing to eat that cap hit? I don't think if I'm the Packers, I want to eat that cap. I'm going to give you Rodgers. You're going to take what you get. You're going to give me a couple of picks, and we're going to roll.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't fit something in there. But why should Damien said, why should the Jets trade for Rodgers? It may or may not work out for them when they have Mike White, who's a good quarterback. I don't think they think. They don't think. I don't think they think.
Well, they don't believe that sentiment, because if they really thought Mike White was the guy, they wouldn't be going after Aaron Rodgers. They'd be putting that draft capital and money into the draft and free agency to support Mike White.
Billy said,
I agree. I don't think me personally. Oh God, I see how tempting Aaron Rodgers is, but I think the allure of that is not worth the price that organization is going to have to make to get him, and what they got to give up to get him.
I'd have to see what they end up having to give up. That's what, to me, that's what the whole deal depends on.
But the stupid thing I don't think is right. Again, you're either going to look like the best thing since sliced bread, or you're going to look like a damn donkey. That's the choice. If they bring in Aaron Rodgers, that's going to be the choice for that GM. He's either going to look like a donkey, or he's going to be the best thing since sliced bread in the city of New York. Honestly, I mean, that's just the truth of the matter.
Yeah,
because they're going to give up a lot. I'm telling you, Aaron Rodgers, he's going to hit that team hard with what it's going to take to get him, what it's going to take if he leaves, and then what it cost them and able to bring in a free agent with all the cap hit. I personally don't. I see why they're attracted to it, but man, it's a gamble. It's a gamble.
To me, I like it, just depending on. I think it's a smart move, but it depends on what you have to give up. Though. You know what I mean?
I think I would like this move. I think this move would be a little bit better for me, or I would feel a little bit better about the Aaron Rodgers move if I didn't have quite a few holes that I need to fill in order to make it worthy of bringing him over. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if it's kind of like if Aaron Rodgers is a Corvette and all the other players around you are the tires that goes on the Corvette and maybe the brake pads. You got a badass Corvette, but you got shit for tires and you got shit for brakes. You know what I'm saying? Like you can have a Corvette, but still not go where you need to go because everything that it takes to support the Corvette is gone to shit or hasn't been upgraded to support the Corvette.
AP says what holes the Jets had. I think if they bring in Rodgers, you just got to make sure the offensive line's good, and then maybe a receiver. And I think other than that, I think they're in pretty good shape myself because they're strong defensively. I think maybe bringing another receiver, running back, as long as Breece Hall comes back, but you can get you a good, decent backup running back for a decent price. So that don't worry me as much as maybe, and I think they can find a receiver, but the offensive line, and it's so hard because offensive linemen are hard to find. I mean, yeah, you can get one and you can get them in the draft, but they could take time to develop. And then it's not like there's a surplus of good offensive line or real good offensive linemen in the NFL. I mean, how many teams are we saying need offensive line help? It seems like most of them.
No, that's the thing. I mean, if you look at where their offensive line is right now, you got the left tackle Dwayne Brown, which we all know is old as dirt. He's questionable currently, and then you have Nick Bawden. He's also questionable as a fullback. Not that you really care about the fullback so much, but then you look at the right guard, Vera Tucker, who's questionable. You got the right tackle, Becton, who's questionable. You got Noah Fant. Not Noah Fant, excuse me. I apologize.
Wait a minute. What do you mean questionable?
Well, right now, there's George Fant. I don't know why I said no. It's George Fant. I would say a lot of the offensive linemen are banged up. They'll be ready for the season. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
They're not out or anything like that. But what I'm saying is they're still coming off, recuperating from those injuries of last season.
No, okay. Yeah.
And for some reason, I don't know what it is about the New York Jets, but it seems like every season – their offensive line gets hurt. Somebody gets hurt on the offensive line, or they have multiple offensive line injuries. And they brought in like 2 or 3 replacements for the guys that they brought in to replace the other guys. So it's like they brought in Brown. I forgot who was it Brown replaced last season, but they brought in Brown last season. Brown got hurt, was out the whole season. They had to bring in another guy to replace Brown. I mean, they got several guys that they brought in to replace these guys, and they're all hurt. So they have a lot of problems with injuries along that offensive line, and I think that's what hurts the Jets.
No, I agree.
Wow, they're going to meet with Aaron Rodgers today. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. I would like to have if I was a Jets fan, I'd like to have a lukewarm feeling about the whole Rodgers thing. But for me, when I think about the Rodgers coming in for the Jets, Gonzo, you know how you want something, but yet at the same time, bringing it in also scares the shit out of you? That's the way I would feel about Aaron Rodgers. It feels great to get him, but it scares me to get him because I don't know what the repercussions of bringing him in is going to cost my team. That's the only thing that makes me or would make me on the fence about it a little bit. But what do they say? What do they say in Vegas? You don't win what you don't put in the middle. So sometimes you got to put it in the middle and go for broke.
Let me ask you this. Let's say Rodgers goes to the Jets. They work that deal out. Do the Packers stay with Jordan Love and see why he has, or do you think the Packers will be looking maybe to bring a quarterback in? Oh
yeah, and that's actually a really good question. Honestly, that's a really good question because I think a lot of people want to know that. I mean, if they're willing to trade Aaron Rodgers away, then management has to feel somewhat confident with Jordan Love, or they wouldn't just be giving up their only, safe haven, right? So at some level, either A, they do believe in Jordan Love, or B, they plan to use the draft picks from the Jets along with their own draft picks, and I think they try to move up and snag somebody. how far they can get up in the draft based off their picks, I don't know. But I think if they truly don't feel, good about Jordan Love, they do have draft picks that they would get from the Jets plus their own that they can package to try to get the quarterback of the future.
Hey, real quick, just because I just saw something and we've been talking a lot about players getting in trouble and doing stupid shit. Wide receiver for the Vikings, KJ Osborne, was in an Uber, and him, his Uber driver, and two bystanders pulled a guy out of a burning car and helped save the guy's life in Austin, Texas.
That's awesome.
On Sunday night.
Awesome. That's what I like to hear. That's what we need more of is, athletes.
Well, not just athletes.
People helping people. Yeah, no, well, people, I'm saying, athletes have a platform.
Yeah.
Whether we like to say it or not, they have a platform, and that platform can be used for negative or positive. And when you see guys like this that are athletes that have a platform, that have a following and so forth, and they're out there doing the right thing, they're out there doing heroic things, they're out there, like you said, they're getting guys out of a burning car. That's what we need. We need more of that positive, messaging, a positive example, to affect our young kids, because our young kids look up to these athletes. So that I'm glad you brought that up, man, because as much as we talk about the negative, we got to talk about the positive and the heroic.
Well, that's why I said I wanted to make sure we talked about that.
Absolutely.
Because I understand what you're saying about athletes, but that's something that everybody needs to learn from. It's
right,
people helping people. It's
absolutely. But a lot of times it takes people that have a position that these athletes have that are doing the positive things to make us want to do good things. Right? It's all by leadership. It's all by example. Right? And so it's good to see when these athletes are doing good things, because it really reinforces in our younger people or our older people. Hey, look, if he's doing this, maybe we should be doing this. Packers could use Jets draft pick to flip it and trade up to get a quarterback. Wow, I should be a GM laughed out loud. Anthony Price, you about a day late and $1 short, man. We done said that about 20 minutes ago.
Bucks are releasing left tackle Donovan Smith. The Jets have flown on Woody Johnson's private plane to California to meet with Aaron Rodgers in person, per sources. This is according to Diana Rossini from ESPN. They land soon. Also, it's also been reported by Dan Graziano and Rob Demovsky from ESPN. But the Green Bay Packers have given New York permission to speak with Rodgers. So the Jets are on their way to California as we speak.
And then once they get that buy-in from Aaron to come over, then they got to have the next conversation with the Packers about what the Packers are going to want.
And then the Dolphins have informed cornerback Byron Jones that he is being released on March 15th.
Wow.
And will have the opportunity to enter free agency. Dolphins will designate him as a post-June 1 cut, saving Miami $13.6 million against its salary cap. So cornerback Byron Jones is going to be a free agent.
Hey, sorry to be laughing. Hey, Anthony, my bad, man. I can't read all that well, so my apologies. And then Billy Buzz says, all heroes don't wear capes. That's right. All heroes don't wear capes. But the ones that do wear capes that are doing the right things really inspire the ones who don't wear capes to be just like them and be heroes just like them. So the capes can inspire the ones without the capes. Keep that in mind. What a time to be alive. Man, I'm getting in trouble with Anthony Price. He over there getting all in my business. Damn, I'm sorry, man. My bad, Anthony. Damn. What a time to be alive, man. Jeez. Well, are you going to be watching that game tonight at 10? I guess I'm going to try to watch a little bit of that game tonight.
Yeah, Damien said that he's seen reports Packers and other teams are in talks with Phillip Rivers to bring him out of retirement. Hey,
man, whatever. Leave that man alone.
No. I've heard rumors about Rivers coming back, but as long as he don't come back to the Colts, that's fine and dandy. He can go to any other damn team he wants. But we don't need
Hey,
another.
you'll take whoever we give you. Hey, listen, everybody knows that the Colts are the wastebasket of the NFL. You'll get who we give you.
Hey, we won a Super Bowl. More
Hey, look,
recently
man. Hey, Gonzo, don't get mad. Gonzo, don't take it personal. If you're the wastebasket of, hold on, watch this. I'm gonna hit you with some knowledge. You ready? If you're the wastebasket of the NFL, then that means the Cowboys are the toilet paper. Okay, it is what it is. It is. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, my team ain't doing that much better, so I'm just saying.
Oh, man.
Hey, it's good that we can laugh about our teams in harmony.
I remember when the Colts made the Super Bowl back in 07 and they played the Bears. Well, one of my buddies, he was a big Bears fan, and he came over to the house. And of course, the whole 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl or going back and forth. I wish I had the show back then because that'd been hilarious. But we were going back and forth about the Bears and the Colts. Well, he was at the house and Hester ran that damn kickoff back for a touchdown to start the game off. And he's going crazy. And then after that, the Colts just basically just took control of the game. And he was ready to leave because there was probably about 20 Colts fans at the house and one Bears fan.
Oh, hey, listen, you never walk into a place where you're outnumbered. I'm just saying, it's in my experience, it never works out the way you think it's going to. Hey, but I do have one I want to talk to you about. Just like Jason, be a hero for. Hey, I appreciate that, Mickey. I appreciate that because I think a lot of times our veterans, they don't always get the love, man. And I got a lot of buddies of mine that lost their lives in combat, and I remember them every day. And I think about them and the sacrifice that they made for myself and all of us, man. And it's a thankless job, just like first responders, police, paramedics, firefighters. I mean, these guys don't get the love that they should get, man. I understand everybody makes mistakes, especially in the police department. There's been a lot of mistakes made, but by and large, man, I'm telling you, man, these people are good people, man. They don't get the love that they deserve. Real quick, though, I wanted to ask you, and I didn't get to ask you earlier, and I just thought about this, and I want to ask you while I'm thinking about it. But John Morant out, and we don't know how long John Morant's going to be out for. We all know that's subject for debate. Memphis right now is the number 2 seed team. What does that do now to them? How seriously do we take Memphis now? And who's the next man up to challenge the Denver Nuggets out in the West?
It'll affect them some because of how dynamic playmaker John Morant is. But we also have to remember when he got hurt last year and missed some games in the playoffs, they still played pretty damn good. Yeah, right. They got beat by the Warriors, but the Warriors are a tough team, and they played right with them even without Morant. It wasn't like they got blown out. So I think with the core they have, I don't know if they'll hold on to the number 2. They might move back maybe to 3. But I think they're still going to be a tough out. But I don't think they're going to make a deep run in the playoffs without Morant. You know what I mean? I don't think they're
absolutely. And that begs a question too. Let me ask you
in the West without Morant, but I do still think they can maybe pick up a first round win in the playoffs.
Right. But but that begs a secondary question. Then the secondary, or I should say, the follow-up question to what you just said is: do you feel like Morant will be back for the playoffs?
That's the thing. Is he just going to miss the rest of the regular season? I don't know.
I gotta believe, man. I think he's out in depth. I don't think he comes back this season. I think he's done. But again, nobody knows. Nobody knows, but
I kind of feel like he's probably done for the season, but you also got the NBA investigating it right now as well. So you don't know what's going to come out from that if they decide to do some kind of suspension. And I know right now he's stepped away from the Grizzlies with everything going on. So,
and another thing too, again, Colorado Police Department is still investigating this. So we don't even know what's going to come from that.
They're investigating, and the NBA still investigating.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much out there that you got to think that, if he does come back, it's slim.
I doubt the NBA does anything with that. That's with the soft ass commissioner they have.
Well, that's true. That's true. I think. Let's see. Anthony Price goes on to ask about: do you think Byron Jones really got cut because of the comment he made about the team, trainers, and doctors? I got to be honest, Gonzo. I have not seen the comments, so I can't really speak on that. Have you seen the comments?
No, I'd have to do more research into that to have an accurate opinion on it.
Hey, well, all right, we'll do some digging on that Anthony Price. Me and Gonzo, we'll talk about it on the unscripted at 7. We'll do some digging in that and find out. So we'll put a pin on that one for now, and we'll revisit at 7:00 this evening and see what's up, man. And then Billy. Oh, I skipped over Billy. Maybe that wasn't supposed to be said. My bad.
Go ahead. Go pull up Billy.
Oh, I see why you didn't want that to come. Man, you were really good with that double click, man. Report.
What would you say? I didn't want what to come up?
Yeah, you know what I saw. Did you? I don't know. Did you see the one about Billy? He said talking about Jay McLevin might get released from ASAP Sport or Unscripted Sports.
I was trying to put it up there, but
I thought you were trying to take it down.
No, we were both hitting it at the same time to put it up there. So one of us was putting it up there, the other one was taking it down.
It's because we have a hellified production team. It's always a possibility, Billy.
I heard that he's been released and he's going over to the Sports Empire Network. He wants.
I don't know how to feel about that. I feel like Gonzo's trying to start some tumultuous tensions over at ASAP.
Oh, man.
What a time to be alive. Anthony Price says the report said maybe a fake, but Ja Morant bought the gun on the – he did bring the gun on the team plane. Didn't you see they had a closed meeting about traveling and traveling safe? Yeah. That whole damn meeting, that whole closed-door meeting was about Ja Morant and him having the gun on the road. Oh, yeah.
Damien said
about the gun on the damn team plane. What an idiot.
Damien said in his opinion that Morant should be banned. I don't think you ban him, but I do think he needs to.
Well, let's put it this way. If he continues to go down the road he's going, I think it'll lead to a ban.
Yeah, I think it could lead to a ban, but I don't think you ban him yet.
What they do to Gilbert Arenas? Was Gilbert Arenas banned from the NBA? I wasn't tracking one with Gilbert. What happened to Gilbert Arenas? I thought he just faded out.
He pulled a gun out in the locker room or something?
Oh, that's right. He did. I do remember that. Oh my God, that's right. I forgot all. Woo, I forgot about that one. Shit. Wow. What a time to be alive, man. Damn. Mickey goes on to say, but it's not right to play for the NBA. It's not right. Yeah, that's true.
You're right. It's not a right. It's a privilege to play in the NBA.
Bill, I don't know what he means by Bill, but he's saying, Bill, no Frank C will kick out of ASAP for New York. Man, Mickey, sometimes, well, I tell you what.
Mickey likes going at Frankie, doesn't he?
Boy, Mickey and Frankie have a love-hate relationship, so it's quite the thing to see. Yeah, man. Real quick, man. Again, I just want to say congratulations to John Jones for recapturing his heavyweight title, man.
You're really going to congratulate him over that weak ass fight?
Hey!
What?
Let's be positive. Don't be a dick. He got to win. He still has to. We'll talk more about that tonight. But I'm just saying, let the man have a win. Damn.
Oh no, he got the win. and I'm looking forward to seeing him fight Stipe. But I'm just saying that was a weak fight. I was disappointed in the fight. I thought it would be more entertaining fight than that.
I mean, the guy, in all fairness, he has been out of the ring for about 3 years. So
I'm not saying he.
No. What I'm saying is you got to take that with a little bit of a grain of salt.
I'm not saying. I didn't think Jones looked bad. I just didn't think that fight lived up to the hype between him and Gon. I thought Gon tapped quick, but you know what I mean. I just did nothing against Jones. I thought Jones looked good. For a guy that hadn't fought in 3 years. I thought Jones looked good.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is the way the fight was hyped up, I just didn't feel like that.
Oh, well, yeah, right. Of course, it didn't live up. Well, hell, how many fights have not lived up? I mean, I could think of a dozen Mike Tyson fights. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Could you imagine spending all that money for pay-per-view only to watch Mike Tyson punch that dude out in 45 seconds? That's before streaming.
I remember when I was a kid, Dad paid all the money for pay-per-view, and Tyson bit off Holyfield's ear.
And you're like, what is this? What is this craziness? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
What I'm saying, like the co-main event, Grasso and Shevchenko. Now that was a hell of a fight.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. Don't worry, we're gonna get more because I got a few things out on this subject, but I'm gonna wait and get into that. But I thought it was good to see Jones, at least if nothing else, back in the arena. We'll see where he goes, with future fights and things of that nature. I tell you what, I don't know who is. Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now though. Hey, I went and saw Creed 3 2 nights ago when it first came out. Oh my God, I'm not gonna tell nothing about it. I'm just saying that Michael B. Jordan did a hell of a job in making that movie. Hell of a job. Let me
ask you this: was it better than Creed 2?
It's better than every damn Rocky film that's been put out. Every one of them. And I say that because you got to remember now too, screenwriting, screen production, everything advances with with years. So for what Rocky did or Sylvester Stallone did with the Rocky series up into even the Creed, that was all him. He did as good for what he could do, right? I mean, that was just the end of his storytelling. But where Michael B. Jordan picks up from Sylvester Stallone and carries a torch, the writing, the way the movie's laid out, I don't want to. If I go too more, I'll give too much away. And I don't want to do that for you. I'm just saying it's laid out extremely well. It's written extremely well, and the fight scenes are incredible.
I've heard mostly good things about it. I heard a few people that didn't care for it, but I've heard mostly good.
Well, you know what though? I think a lot of times when people say that, it's because they're so used to the way the storylines, because they're so used to Sylvester Stallone and the way Sylvester Stallone prevents Rocky and presents Creed, that when Michael B. Jordan puts his spin on it, the diehards of Rocky are not, because it's not a typical Rocky film, right? It's got a Michael B. Jordan edge. But I'm just saying, it's the way they tie in the past, the present, the future. It's just incredible, and I think you'll see that. You'll see that.
See, I've heard more positive things about it than I have negative.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Don't worry. Hey, when you go see that movie, you let me know because I want to talk to you about it on air. We'll do part of the segment about what we thought about it, because I do want to kind of talk to you about it.
Watch it because I'm a big fan of the Rocky series and the Creed movie. So
I would tell you, in my own personal opinion, that when you go spend the money to go see it, you're going to walk out of the movie theater and you're going to be glad you spent the money. It's really, in my opinion, it's really good.
Anthony said Creed 3, the movie, had better fights than that John Jones fight.
See, I didn't get the luxury of being able to watch the John Jones fight. I figured we were doing the night that it was going on, but I was able to watch it. Your dad goes on to say, I'm positive that was weak. And then Billy says, win, Rocky, win.
That was the first thing me and Dad both said after that John Jones fight. That was weak as fuck.
I think, we're going to get into it tonight, but I think it's going to get better as it goes along.
It didn't have nothing to do with how he looked fighting. It was just, I was hoping for a brawl, for, a little bit of controversy.
I understand what you're saying. Trust me, I get where you're going with it. You should have congratulated Alexa Grasso for being the first Mexican to win a flyweight.
She's actually the second. only the second Mexican to hold a championship in the UFC. You had
congratulations to Alexa then. Seriously, mad props.
She's the first female because Moreno was the first, and then now she's the first female Mexican to hold a championship.
And again, man,
that was a hell of a fight. She pulled off a big upset. I ain't gonna lie, I picked Shevchenko to win that fight. And Grasso ended up getting a tap out, but even if she wouldn't have tapped her out, I think Grasso was in the lead in the fight. It was a close fight, but I thought Grasso was in the lead before getting the tap out. But it was, like I said, that was a real entertaining fight.
I'm telling you, man. We unscripted. We really try to do a lot to promote, women and what they do in sports, and to see that's really pretty cool. We'll probably touch on that tonight too as well. To be the first of anything, whether it be the first, Mexican female or whatever the case may be, it's good to see people representing not only their country, but their gender, especially if you're a female, where it's hard to get recognition. It's good to see that, man. So congratulations to Alexa on that.
AP says, what you think the Giants going to do with Barkley and Jones? I think they're going to franchise tag Jones, I think they're going to get Jones. I think they're going to get a deal with Jones done by 4:00, and then they're going to franchise tag Barkley.
Yeah, again, because of NFL having that hard cap, they're really going to have to be creative, and they're really going to have the buy-in, not only of Barkley, but Jones as well, to make the numbers work, and we'll see where you go. Again, Jones thinks he's worth $45 million. I think me and Gonzo kind of come to recollection. I think he gets between 30 and maybe $35 million. He's got to be somewhere in that neighborhood in order to make the numbers work to keep Barkley. So
from what I'm hearing,
Barkley's fate really depends on what the contract that Jones gets, to be honest with you.
From what I'm hearing, if they don't get a deal worked out with Jones by 4, they're going to franchise tag him.
Yeah, and I think to your point that you made earlier about that, I think they go with the non-exclusive for a lot of reasons, but I think the main reason is the money. I think they go with non-exclusive because it keeps them at $32 million, which gives them enough cap room to sign Barkley. I think that's the only way it works. Now, when the tag is up, then they're going to have to deal with Jones again, and I think that could be a tricky situation.
Yeah, but it gives them I think if you franchise tag Jones, to me, that's what I would do. I'd franchise tag Jones, try to sign Barkley, because with Jones, if you franchise tag him, that gives you another year to see what you have. Yeah, he had a lot better season this year than what he had done before Dable got there. So I think you franchise tag him, see what he does this season. Try to put get some help at wide receiver, because they really need help on at wide receiver. And see what he does, and then if he has another good year, and you believe he's the guy, didn't get him locked down on a deal. But I don't think franchise tagging him for this season is a bad idea, really.
Hey, you know what I would do though? Hey, if you put that non-franchise and you give him that $32 million, and you let it go that direction. When I go to sign Barkley, I'm telling you, I'm having a conversation with him. I'm like, look, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna offer Barkley somewhere in the neighborhood of $8 to $10 million, somewhere between that $8 to $10 million, and I'm gonna start with 8, and I'm gonna cap it off at 10. And if he doesn't sign a long-term deal at $10 million a year at best case or worst case scenario, then I'm gonna let him walk. I'm not giving him more than 10. I'm not giving that man more than $10 million. No way. And I think, and I'll be honest with you, Gonzo. I signed up for 2 years. 2 years at $10 million. Worst case scenario, 2 years, $10 million. That's $20 million over 2 years. And if that man stays healthy both years, yes, it may cost me a little bit more money in the long run, but I want to see him stay healthy for 2 solid years before I give him, quote unquote, a Quan deal. And that's even if I go that direction. But I'm not giving him more than $10 million. Hell no.
Patriots defensive back Jonathan Jones will hit the free agent market, as Patriots are not going to use the franchise tag on him.
Wait, what was he saying now? Say it one more time.
Defensive back Jonathan Jones from the Patriots is going to be hitting the free agent market.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So there's going to be some defensive players out there that are going to be hitting the free agent market, which, let's be honest, the Eagles, the Eagles, they got their own issues to work out. You know what I'm saying? They still got to work out the deal with Miles Sanders, if they decide to keep Miles Sanders, or do the Eagles use their pick on a running back in the draft and then turn their attention over to the defense? And then if you're in the defense, who do you tag? And if not, if you decide to keep Miles Sanders, then who do you take in the draft? Because where they drafted, I think like 6, 7, somewhere in the top 10. They should be able to get a good defensive tackle to replace the one that they'll be losing. But I think the Eagles themselves is another team that, outside of the Giants, are going to have their own, players to deal with, like what the Giants are dealing with, especially on that defense that was touted so well last season. Which is good for me, because I don't care about them anyway, damn it. Cowboys. All I care about is the Cowboys, damn it. Let's go, man. Cowboys, I'll be honest with you, man. They've been linked to Brandon Cooks to pair up alongside of CeeDee Lamb. I've seen that out there now floating around in the rumor mill. They got to do something. I don't know how Gallup is going to look on his second year coming off that ACL, but they got to do something with that. And maybe they take a wide receiver in the draft, although I think they wind up going defense in the draft for some reason, even though I feel like they should really be looking at the next option to pair alongside of CD, because let's be honest, Cowboys defense is pretty good. Defense wasn't the issue last season. Last season, what kept them out of getting to the NFC showdown was on the offensive side of the ball. And the fact that they couldn't move the ball as well as they should have, which is, again, why I think they should have franchised Schultz number 1, and I think they should have got a wide receiver in the draft number 2 to pair alongside with CD.
I didn't agree with franchise tagging Pollard. Why are you going to pay a guy franchise tagging for $10 million a year the dude he's injured, and you don't know when he'll be back and how long it's going to take him to get back to himself once he does come back. So yeah, I thought that was.
Oh, but I
think out of franchise.
Hey, here's your boy. What's up, Pride?
What's up, my boys? How y'all feeling today?
Cowboys, they're still fair to Midland, so I'm not doing well. But question, I'm glad you kind of chimed in, because I really did, and I don't know, Gonzo probably we've been debating this whole Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, and we got Mike Hughes' testimony on it. I'm really curious to see what you think about if the New York Jets are able to pull off the trade for the Jets. Does it make them title contenders? And if it does, how do you see them playing out? Or do you think that that's a gamble that's going to come back to haunt the Jets?
So to answer your first question, if they get Aaron Rodgers, no, they're not title contenders. Period. End of story. The end. Take a bow. It's over. I'm not going that far. I will say it is an upgrade. I do think that them being a playoff team is a legitimate conversation. Now, here's kind of where to answer this, to the last thing that you ended up saying, is it going to bite them in the rear end? It probably is. And the reason why I think that is, if we're going to be 100% honest here, Aaron Rodgers probably only has, 2-3 more years of good football left.
Right.
As soon as that good football goes out the window, all your young pieces are beginning to hit their prime. So now the question is, are you just doing this with Aaron Rodgers as a temporary hold type thing, or are you talking about 5, 6, 7 years, like how they thought they were going to have? I don't know if anyone brought this up yet, but when the Jets got Brett Favre, they were planning for a long, long, long relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
And are they thinking that this is the same thing?
And this is the same damn guy. After every damn season, he feels like he's got to do dark therapy, and then he'll get back to you. Like he's just doing exactly what Favre did to him, holding him hostage, not letting them really know what's going on. And I would not want to live my life as a GM with a quarterback at 39, not knowing whether or not he's going to come back, year after year. And I agree with you. I was telling Gonzo, I would much rather, I think it'd be much more beneficial that they ride the Mike White train, maybe take those draft picks that they were going to use on Aaron Rodgers, package it up. If you don't think that Mike White is your long-term future, which I don't think he is, and then package it up for maybe somebody in the draft like a Stroud or whoever, that you think might be. You know what I mean?
And not only that, worst case scenario, let's say for some reason that doesn't work out and you don't like any of the quarterbacks in this upcoming class or whatever the case may be, you can still go get a Jimmy Garoppolo. You can still go get, which the I don't know if anyone brought this up with yet, but the Saints paying Derek Carr, the Saints are basically going to cut Jameis Winston. If I'm not mistaken, it has to be after the 1st of July. Somebody fact check me on that, but if they
no, you're right. No, what you said is true. Well, if they cut him, free agency starts on the 15th of July.
Right. So if they cut him, I believe they cut him right before the beginning, then they save money. Well,
right.
Regardless, though, there are other quarterbacks out there that they'll be able to be like, okay, if you're looking for a stopgap quarterback, you don't want to look at a guy who's almost as old as time itself, right? But you got to remember when Tampa Bay went all in on Tom Brady, they had the roster. They had it all. They just needed the quarterback. The Jets are still a few pieces and time away from being legitimate, if they ever even become legitimate, right? But I do like where they're going from here. But for me, I would rather go get a Jimmy Garoppolo for 2 years. I'd rather even go get a Baker Mayfield for 2 years. I would rather do a cheap 2-year deal where
that sounds like a good idea to me.
You see what I'm saying? Like, just get a cheap 2-year deal where
that's what I was saying. Because I was saying, if you don't believe that White Might is your future, because he may not be your future, like you said, go get a cheaper version, right? A Baker Mayfield or Garoppolo. We call it gap fill, right? Get a gap fill quarterback. Trade up in the draft if you think that there's somebody there that could be a benefit for your future, either this draft or next draft. Because I think this draft has got at least 2 or 3 viable quarterback candidates that could be really good. And then of course you got Caleb Williams and so forth coming out in next year's draft. I don't know if Drake will be out there, but there's options in either this draft or the next draft that you can really find your future in. Much more than trading your future away for a guy, like you said, that's 39, that most likely still not going to get you there because maybe he doesn't have all the weapons he needs or whatever case may be, right? I mean,
it's like the same logic.
Too big of a gamble.
It was like the same logic when Tom Brady was experimenting with free agency when people thought he was going to go to Detroit. No, he where he is at this stage of his career, no, he's not going to go and elevate a franchise. All he's going to do is go and contribute, right? And Aaron Rodgers is in that part of his career. Now, he probably is going to accept going to the Jets because he's still going to get that money. But for the Jets, to me, it's lunacy. It's lunacy because if you go get a cheap quarterback, pay him for 2 years, you then go in the draft and get a kid, and next thing you know, you end up. I mean, look, Justin Fields fell to 28. You'll be able to have a solid quarterback, and especially in a class that's this deep when it comes to quarterbacks. I just don't think it's the right move to go get Aaron Rodgers. I would rather go get a young guy so all my guys are hitting their prime around the same time. I would rather go, like I said, a Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston, Jimmy Garoppolo, a cheap 2-year guy. And on top of that, let's say whoever you draft immediately takes over. Now you're not mad that you spent all this money on a quarterback. Now you're not mad and you're not in your field. Now you can comfortably be like, look, we're paying you, but I'm comfortable benching you and paying you. So whichever young kid we get, when he begins to step up, that's it, right? So if I'm the Jets, the Jets are going to obviously panic because they're in a weird situation. They have a good future, but they're tired of having a future. They're sick of it. So they would rather mortgage their future to go 7-8.
And that's really what they're doing. I feel like right now they're in a good spot. They're building the team up slowly. They're getting certain pieces. Yeah, they need a field general. I feel like the field general can be gotten in the draft. And I feel like they're trying to, like you said, they're trying to leapfrog up to the top. But the problem is they don't have the supporting cast to really give Aaron everything he needs to get them, over the Patrick Mahomeses or whoever, at that top level. You know what I mean? It's only good for so far, and then you're done.
And that's, like I said, if I'm the Jets, I continue going through the draft. Whether or not they do, I don't know. I hope they do. Because, again, Aaron Rodgers is going to go to New York, and in 3 weeks he's going to be miserable. And he's going to do the same thing he did with Green Bay. Like, where Aaron Rodgers is in his career right now. And it's okay to admit this. It's okay. It's okay to admit this. We had the same conversation about Tom Brady. Where he is in his career, he's not that guy anymore, but he can still help you contribute to wins. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing because Aaron Rodgers has been around for a long time. But him going to the
that's crazy.
It's gonna be a reality check, man. It's gonna be a reality check.
What are you expecting out of Trask this season with the Bucks?
Nothing. I expect them to go down.
I don't think they start. I don't think they start Trask. I think they end up bringing a gap guy in.
110%. I'm like they're gonna bring in like the aforementioned Jimmy Garoppolo, Jameis Winston. Well, I don't think Jameis Winston will go. Maybe
Jameis Winston gonna make a return.
Maybe
homecoming.
Anybody's better than Kyle Trask, if we're gonna be honest. I mean, let's be honest, right? Respectfully,
right?
I mean, I don't. That's why I said nothing when you asked me what I expect. Because I agree with Chris. I don't think Kyle Trask plays, but bearing an injury. But if we're talking about the likelihood of him playing, I don't think it's all that high at all. I'll be honest with you. It is a higher likely that Lamar Jackson gets traded to Tampa Bay than Kyle Trask is playing. There's no shot that kid's playing.
Hey, and I haven't checked this, and I haven't heard anything since he went to the pro level, but whatever happened to Fromm? Is he out of the league? Is he done? Or is he still a backup out there? I think was it Buffalo or whatever?
Oh, Jake Fromm?
Yeah, whatever happened to him?
If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he plays anymore.
Yeah, he kind of went to his team. He had those issues, and then he just faded out.
It says here that he's with the Washington Commanders.
Oh,
I heard the Commanders signed him to their practice squad.
Yeah, that might be. I remember when he came out, and then nothing ever happened of him.
Well, a name like Fromm, you're going to be trash.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. Chris.
Fromm played at Georgia, didn't he?
He did.
Yo, Chris. John Jones is the GOAT.
What's up, bro?
Yeah. And I'm not the biggest Jones fan in the world.
I would say you have to say he's the GOAT, and I'm not the biggest Jones fan, but that fight did not live up to the hype to me. It was such a weak fight.
Well, but here's the thing. You want to know why I think it was honestly a weak fight? I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't think it's John Jones' fault. I don't think so. Because I thought John Jones was going to win, but I thought I was going to go to the decision.
Yeah, I thought at least there was a little bit of drama in the fight, and there was going to be some banging.
Yeah, I thought the first round, John Jones was going to have trouble getting his footing because it's the first time he's been back. He's been emotional the whole time, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Then I thought he would work his way back in, right? I thought round 2, Cyril Gahn would continue putting the pressure. John Jones would do something back, but it would be clearly, Cyril Gahn. And then 3, 4, and 5 is when John Jones would get comfortable, dominate, use his wrestling, and go from there. Honestly, bro, I don't think Cyril Gahn is that guy that we thought he was, bro.
Gahn looked outclassed.
Bro, I don't think Cyril Gahn is that guy that that I thought he was.
He didn't look comfortable on his feet. He looked outclassed.
He looked uncomfortable everywhere.
Yep.
Everywhere. And
Now,
it's
I
funny
am
because
excited to see Stipe and Jones. That's going to be fun.
Yo, Stipe does not like this man in the slightest. Like
Yeah.
Megan O'Leary, Jay, Megan O'Leary, she's like trying to hype it up. She's trying to hype it up. So, Stipe, what do you think about his performance? I'll see him in the summer. Fuck this guy. I'm just like, Stipe, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yo, Stipe he was not with the, well, we all love John Jones tonight bandwagon. He was like, nah. He was like, if you put a lie detector test to him and you forced him to say the truth, he would have said F John Jones like 3 times.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat the shit out of him. And then he would have ended it with John Jones can suck my dick. Swear to God, that's what Stipe would have said.
Yeah,
if you made him tell the truth.
he just kept
Say
saying
it with your chest, Pride.
He just kept saying, we'll see in July. We'll see in July.
And you want to know why I think Stipe said that? I honestly think Stipe is concerned that John Jones is going to pop again. I don't think Stipe is going to get his hopes up until it's announced.
Yeah.
And even then,
in my opinion, I think John Jones has to have Ngannou come back and fight him, and that's the only way the legitimacy goes back to John Jones. But we all know that, Dana White and how he feels about Ngannou. But I'm going to tell you right now, don't be surprised if Ngannou comes back, because at the end of the day, White is still a businessman, and I think he knows that that's a big payday.
You know what's about ready to happen?
No.
So many inappropriate thoughts. Go ahead.
What's about ready to happen?
Ngannou.
Brock Lesnar's getting ready to leave WWE. He's going to go back to UFC and fight John Jones. John Jones wants that matchup, and
I doubt that. I doubt that.
UFC.
I doubt that. I mean, Brock is getting paid more in the WWE than he is in the UFC to do half the work. He's gonna take a break and retire. Yep. Nah. But not like, I will say this though about Stipe and John Jones. I don't think I want to see that. That's it. I don't think I want to see, because here's my thing. I don't want to see it, but for John Jones, I think he needs to do it though. I think there's, in my opinion, there's 3 guys John Jones needed to beat. There's 3. It's and this is what I'm doing if I'm John Jones. This is the cojones I'm walking around with. I'm beat Cyril Gane, he did that. Beating Stipe, he did that. And if I'm John Jones and he's out here calling himself the GOAT, I mean, let's go all the way. I hope and pray Yuri Prochazka gets back the title, and I drop in weight, go back to the division that I dominated, beat the bricks out of Yuri Prochazka, and imagine him holding up both belts. I'm telling you this right now. He holds up both belts. Me and John Jones were in LA doing crap. Swear to God, we're snorting coke. Swear to God, bro, I'm with him. I don't care, bro. Me and John Jones, we don't have the craziest night ever, bro. But like, imagine that, Chris. Imagine that. Imagine that. He takes 3 years off, comes back, dominates Cyril Gane, the guy who everyone thought was in line to be the guy, right?
Right.
Then he beats Stipe, who everyone considers is the GOAT at heavyweight. He then beats him, then drops down in weight to go back to the division he dominated to beat Yuri Prochazka, a guy who scares me, and the guy doesn't even know where I live, right? And this dude will, I think if he does that, if I'm John, after that, I retire. Because at that point, there's nothing left to prove. Like, he already, like, honestly.
Well, yeah.
Like, beating Cyril Gane in my eyes made him the GOAT. You know what I mean? It made him the
I just feel like, without him getting the win over Ngannou, which, I mean, because when Ngannou left, that voided the damn belt. So then, what's Stipe? I think was it Stipe that got it? Who got it after he voided it?
John Jones.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's almost like he needs to fight Ngannou to add legitimacy to his title or his crown.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, he doesn't. I would agree with you if the guy got hurt. For example, like in lightweight, right? Yuri Prochazka won the title from Glover Teixeira, and then he got hurt and had to relinquish it. So Jamal Hall is not in my eyes, I don't care about Jamal Hill. I don't care about him. because I need to see him beat Yuri Prochazka, then we'll talk about it. That's a different incident because the guy's hurt. Francis Ngannou rejected the John Jones fight twice, then left. I don't care.
Yeah.
He rejected that fight twice and then left. So in my eyes, John Jones doesn't need to do anything. If anything, Francis Ngannou has to come back and earn that. If anything, that's more of a thing on Francis Ngannou. If it's going to be on anyone.
But you got to admit, though, that, from a financial standpoint, Ngannou versus John Jones would be a nice moneymaker for UFC and Dana White. So I don't know why they wouldn't, or at some point, I think they got to make that happen. Regardless of however Dana White feels about Ngannou. I think from a business standpoint.
Well,
the problem is Ngannou wants more money, but he wants more money, but he's not. He's a draw, but he's not as biggest draw.
He's he's not a draw. We gotta stop.
You know what I'm saying? He's not as big as he's not nearly.
No. Pride does not know what you're saying because he's saying no.
That's what I'm saying, but he
does not. Because he's saying no. If he knew what you were saying,
I'm saying. Here's basically what I'm saying. John Jones would be the A side. John Jones would be the A side of that fight.
Easily. Look, John Jones could fight anybody, and the pay-per-view buy will be amazing because he's John Jones. Let's just get that out the way.
Yeah, it's not like he's fighting. It's not like he's fighting Cormier, who was a big draw as well.
That's what I'm saying.
In that
instance, you're fine. Respectfully to Francis Ngannou.
He's not that.
He's not a draw. He's just not a draw like that. He's not really a draw. Don't get it twisted. He's good. Don't get it twisted. But to call him a draw for me is if you fought anybody for 80% of the places you fought, you need to be the A side or 7.
And that's why the UFC didn't want to pay him more money.
Because think about it. They'll pay Brock Lesnar. He's a draw. They'll pay John Jones. He's a draw. They will take DC. He's a draw. Conor McGregor. He's a draw. Dustin Poirier is more of a draw than Francis Ngannou.
Nate Diaz.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, your friend Sugar Sean O'Malley's a bigger draw.
Settle down.
Hey, Pride said, "Calm down over there."
Piotr Jan's about to go to Bellator. Me and Piotr Jan, we're going to Bellator because honestly, these judges are ruining his career right now.
He lost that fight.
Against Sean O'Malley?
Huh?
Against Sean O'Malley?
I'm saying O'Malley lost the fight.
You almost had the vein in my head popping, man. I thought you tried to.
I'm saying Jan won the fight. Is what I was saying.
Nah, but I mean,
I'm not a big O'Malley fan.
Hey, real quick. Hey, so Lamar was tagged.
I saw that coming from a mile away.
But I wonder though if he got the non-exclusive or the exclusive. That's all. That's what I'm. Anthony Price. I'm guessing you saw that somewhere. Did it say what type of tag they put on him? That would be interesting to know. I think we all knew that he was going to get tagged. I think that was just coming.
Yeah, I knew he was going to get tagged because I mean, they probably would have let him go if they had a high pick. Maybe that would be a conversation. But where they at right now, they're desperate. They had to tag him. And now the ball is back in Lamar Jackson's court, and now he's gonna look crazy. He's gonna look wild when next year he misses another 5 games, and then the Baltimore Ravens come up to him and go, "LOL, settle down." Now look at you.
AP says non-exclusive.
Oh, he got the non-exclusive. Okay, which I think that's what we were talking about. Him getting the non-exclusive. So. Interesting.
Means he can talk to other teams.
I mean, but that's the thing. Like, they act like that's a big deal. Because, like, let's be honest.
Ratings get a chance to match it.
Right. So if it's exclusive or non-exclusive, it literally won't matter at all for the Ravens.
Well, I was just saying, if they get, like Johnson said, if they get the non-exclusive, they don't have to pay him as much. If they get the non-exclusive, they can actually find out what the market is saying he's worth if somebody tries to make an offer. And then if they do make the offer, they still get 2 draft picks. I think the non-exclusive does give them more insight than if they were to just give them the exclusive and call it good until next year.
Well, not necessarily, though. Not necessarily. Because, why do they need to know the market value?
Well, they didn't know the market. I think they want to see, are there teams out there willing to pay more for him? Because if so, then that gives them negotiating power to talk contract with him.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't give them any power. If anything, they lose power. Because once there's another team that's willing to give them the money, then the market just be like, all right, bet, I'm going over there. And now the Ravens have no choice but to at least match it. And now here's the thing with that. If they just match it, Lamar's going to be like, wait, hold on. I ain't play it down for this team, and they're offering me this much money, and it took y'all this long to do it. If anything, the team loses power. If anything.
And the thing about it is, when you look at what Lamar has been saying is the whole issue with Lamar wasn't the amount of the total contract. It was the amount of the guarantee. And that's the thing. Pride, let me ask you this, man. So, if he was to hit the open market, does some team out there give him the fully guaranteed contract? And because they got to match what? The amount plus the guarantee that Watson got or supersede what Watson got.
I think that's what the Ravens are. I think that's what the Ravens are hoping by doing the non-exclusive tag. They're hoping that there's no team that's going to offer that's going to give him that 250 guaranteed. So then,
right
when he comes back, they can say, "Well, look, there ain't no other team that's going to give you that," and they're going to try to get the offer lower.
There's
going to be a team that's going to give it to him, probably because there's so many teams that are looking for that quarterback. So there's going to be it's not going to surprise me if a team offers him 240 guaranteed.
They're going to do it because they're desperate.
Yeah.
Now when they have
I think we already nailed what Atlanta might be one of those teams that might be willing to do it if case may be. So
that's been the team we've been hearing a lot is Atlanta.
I was reading something earlier that the Browns would be interested, and they would basically do Deshaun for Watson straight up.
Well, did you hear? I saw reports, and I want to say it was ESPN. I read it on, but
if you're the Ravens, would you do that?
I mean, it's slippery, but if you're Baltimore, I don't want to lose Lamar. They don't want to lose Lamar for nothing.
Yeah.
So I do believe it would be a possibility. Now the odds of it happening, if I have to give a percent, I would say 2% chance of it happening. Honestly, even less, because I'm not gonna say nothing's impossible now. But
well, that's true. But also the Browns and Watson have talked about a restructure of Watson's contract. I don't know if you saw that, but there have been reports where they've been talking about the possibility of restructuring Watson's contract to make it more cap friendly.
As soon as he signed on that dotted line, everyone knew in a couple years we're gonna have to restructure this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They were just off by a year.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. So I mean, I understand the restructuring of his contract, but for Lamar, I mean, like I said, I think there's a few teams that will be desperate enough to throw Lamar what he wants. I think the Panthers would probably panic and do that, just so they have some a name value type of situation. Same thing with Houston, right? I mean,
yeah,
I can see a couple teams panicking and giving Lamar that, but it's going to turn into a situation where as soon as they do that, after a couple years, they're going to talk to Lamar. Because this is what Lamar doesn't understand. This is what he doesn't understand. As soon as you get that, within two to 3 years, they're going to bring you back to the table and tell you got to take a pay cut. Lamar is already crying that they won't give him the money. He's already bitching about that. Imagine how bad he's going to get when they tell him, bro, some of this money that was supposed to be yours, you got to give it back.
But let me ask you this, since we're talking contracts and things of that nature, we looked at Geno just signed the 3-year, $105 million, I believe it was. I think 58,000 or 52,000 was front loaded to the front first year. Let me ask you this: we know that Geno is 32 years old. This is his first breakout season. He got number 1 in completion rate, number 6 in QBR in the league last year. You got Daniel Jones right now trying to get $40 million, 40 to 45 million. I think realistically, like we said, it's more going to be like around 35, 39. But how out of pocket is Daniel Jones for trying to get 45 million or 40 million?
No, he's getting 40.
The
franchise tag is getting him 40.
That's crazy to me. He's not worth it.
With him getting franchise tag this year, he's making 40 million. Now, I'm a Daniel Jones dude. I like Daniel Jones. I think he's a solid quarterback. But that's really it. I think he's solid. I don't get why everyone is looking at the contracts they gave out to guys like Geno Smith and think I'm worth that. Like, no, you're not. Like, contracts.
Right. I told Jay around 30 million is what 30 to 35 at the most, but around 30 million is what I if I'm the Giants.
Respectfully, if I'm the Giants, I'm sitting down with Daniel Jones. I'm looking him in the eye and I'm gonna say 28.5. I dare you to go elsewhere. Swear to God, that's what I'm doing. Because
I would jump on board with what you're saying because that's what I think he's worth. I think Daniel Jones is worth 28.5. I would go with that all day. And I'm behind that because I think that's what his value really is.
That's what I'm saying.
He's only got one damn year. He's got one damn year of decent football, and all of a sudden he wants to get paid like he's right underneath Patrick Mahomes or something.
But that's why I'm bringing up.
And it's ridiculous to me.
But that's why I'm bringing up Geno. Think about this, Jay.
But at least with Geno, when he's trying to make his argument, he's making arguments based on, look, I just gave you number 1 completion rate in the league and number 6 in QBR. At least he's got something to validate, getting paid 30, 35 million.
But Daniel Jones would probably come to the table saying, "Hey, yo, look, I helped get us in the playoffs." So I mean, something that he could bring. But notice what you said about Geno, right? You said he had his breakout year at 32 years old.
True. Yeah.
My man broke out in his prime. How you do it that slow? Like, that's crazy. But you seeing guys like Geno have one good year, they throw him the bag. Daniel Jones is like, why not me? That's what he's doing.
I think with Geno, Geno could have had that breakout season sooner. It's just he had to sit behind Wilson to fight his time.
No, he could have broken out early if he didn't suck. Sure. but he was bad.
Damn, Pride. Okay, shit.
He was benched. You know what I mean? Then he got punched in the face. And then he got benched for an old Eli Manning after they benched him for him. Like,
well, I mean, in all honesty, though, in Seattle, it really supported him, right? He had a good offensive line. He had a good head coach. He had good wide receivers. He had a good running back in Kenny Walker III. I mean, they really gave him the love and support, whereas New York didn't have the weapons or whatever to really put. And it was a little bit younger. And again, what head coach do they really have to develop Geno? You know what I mean? Hell, even the head coach. I don't know if it was Parcells, the head coach that drafted Geno out there with New York Jets, even he said, we kind of threw Geno into the fire. He really wasn't ready for it. So I think Geno, there was a lot of misfortunate things.
But we can't make those excuses because how many other quarterbacks have got thrown into the fire?
Oh, I'm not – again, say what you will. Hell, look at Trevor Lawrence, thrown in the fire. Shitty head coach. Couldn't do shit. Got Peterson. Now he looks like – the next thing coming. So come on, don't act like having a good head coach doesn't matter. It matters.
I mean, hold on. But that's not what Chris is saying. Chris, if I'm wrong, let me know. What he's saying, you can't just do that for a guy like Geno, who's been on 4 or 5 different teams. We're not going to sit here and act like he got drafted by Seattle, spent 2 years on the bench, started playing, and looked like this. Like
he got
his first start. He got his first start out there with then he got what? The backup? It was backup behind Eli with the Giants, right? And then it was backup behind I think it was Herbert over there in San Diego. It's not like he had a whole lot of starting opportunities once he left the Jets.
That's because his level of play.
Here's my thing.
Or they already had, other profile people.
It don't matter if Justin.
Well, you're not
Herbert-
going to bench Eli to
Geno
start.
Smith
You
is
know,
balling in practice,
what
they're
I'm
going to
saying?
start him. If Geno Smith is balling in practice and looks better than them guys that was in front of him, aging Eli Manning, they would have started Smith if he looked better than Manning. in practice.
Possibly.
And not only
But
that,
again,
this is the part that people forget. They benched him,
Yeah.
and didn't Geno then get benched for Davis Webb?
Yep.
And who then he himself ended up getting benched, and they put Eli back in. So it's like there's a full story we need to tell. You can't just.
I mean,
look at
no,
this
don't,
year
and
and
I'm not
pretend
saying
this was
that. And again, I'm not saying that some of the responsibility doesn't fall on Geno, but at the same time, some of it does fall on other people for not developing Geno.
No, not when you've been on 4 teams.
Well, shit, look at him now. I mean, hell, the fourth.
All right, off of 1 year. Off of 1 year.
I said he's had one good year. Let's see what he does this year. He's had one
But
year.
that's what I'm saying. Listen,
Okay. Let's ask you a different way. Pride. Let me ask you this a different way.
Go ahead.
What did make if we know what led to him? Why all of a sudden the turnaround now? What was the difference?
There's a multitude of differences. First of all, this team Seattle played like they had nothing to lose because they were like, if you looked at their roster, they were horrible. Pete Carroll got everyone to rally around and say, all right, let's get it. Number 2, we're talking about a guy who thrives on checkdowns. Context now. Like, we need to tell the full story. Yes, Geno Smith had a great year, and yes, he was in the right place at the right time. I understand that. I don't know if we can replicate that because he's never shown me anything that can make me look at him and go, you can replicate what you did this year. He's not.
And that's why, and I think to your point, that's why this season coming up is going to be a big year because he's going to have to show that last year wasn't a fluke.
Yes, because if he doesn't this year, at the end of the season next year, we're going to be they're going to be considering cutting him and taking that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He didn't have no.
But the same thing also goes. Hey, but on the flip side, the same thing goes with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is going to have to prove that he wasn't just a 1 year. He's going to have to come back and show. Which I'll be honest, he's in a great position to do that.
Daniel Jones is younger, so he kind of has a little bit of an advantage. But
and it doesn't hurt that Dable's your head coach either.
Well, no, I think that helps. I get that. But for me, how I'm looking at Daniel Jones, this year they're going to look at this year compared to last year. You've had 2 years under Brian Dable. What leaps and bounds are you making? They are looking for a Josh Allen type leap and bound. Are you going to get that? No, you're not. But I do think you get some improvement, enough improvement that you look at him and go, you know what, Daniel? Let's meet at 30 and move. Matter of fact, we'll give you 30.2. So that way, if you have any taxes, they can take it out of that. So you're walking home with 30 and go from there. But
and with Geno, I'm interested in seeing what he looks like this year because last year he had no expectations.
Right.
Now this year he has there's more pressure on him to
that's true.
prove, like you said.
And also, to caveat what he's saying, I said it earlier, where Pete Carroll has never had the top 5 pick since he's been in Seattle. They've only had low 20s. So he said that he's very well he left me. You son of a bitch.
I was getting ready to ask you if you wanted to close it out or get
when Pride came in, that kind of took it to a whole my final thoughts are just check Unscripted out tonight. Gonzo will be there. We'll be talking all this and a whole hell of a lot more at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check us out. Gonzo, get us out of here.
We appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget, check out the new ASAP Network app. Android users, go to Google Play Store. You can find the ASAP Network. You can also find Roku and then also on Amazon. If you have a Fire Stick, go to search apps, put in ASAP Network. It'll come right up. It'll be available for Apple here soon. So we're working on that. So make sure you check that out. Here in about 10 minutes or so, I'll be live with Easy Money, a sports betting show. Come join us for that. My picks were 5-2 yesterday.
Hell yeah.
I'm
yesterday was a good day for you.
I'm 140 and 123 on the year, so not too bad.
Shit. Hey, that's not a bad record of 140 and 123.
No, not too bad at all. I've had pretty good last couple of weeks. Got my numbers back where I wanted them. So I was getting close to 500. Now I'm starting to pull away a little bit.
Hell yeah!
And then, like Jay said, unscripted tonight. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube at GonzoSportsRoom, at the ASAP Sports Network, at Unscripted. Like, follow on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all at GonzoSportsRoom and at the All Sports All Plays Network. Don't forget, big interview tomorrow with Glenn Richardson, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on the GonzoSportsRoom channels and on the ASAP Sports Network. But we appreciate everybody watching the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. Hope everybody has a great Tuesday, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.